Hello, my name is Raeshal Solomon, and I am an author, a speaker, and as you know, a financial teacher. Because if you are watching this, then you are on my RaeshalSolomon.com blog site. Today, I decided to do something a little different. Instead of doing my usual talk and teach through a typed blog, I'll take that off because it's messing with me when I'm looking at the screen. I decided to do this video because I hardly ever do video. Actually, I don't think I've ever done a video as of today on my blog. So I wanted to try something different, see if I like it, see how it goes. And I hope you guys learn a lot. So today we are going to be talking about, budgeting. See, you get to see behind the scenes. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to pull up this budgeting thing. So I actually have this course I created called Teen Talk Money, and it'll be for sale. Actually, depending on when you're watching this video, it might already be for sale, but I'm not here to sell you. This is just some of the information that will be in the class. So I'll talk about income budgeting and a day-to-day. Recently, I did a budgeting course in person where I was a speaker and I spoke to teens and their parents about budgeting. And I really saw how important budgeting is, even more than I can remember it being. It seems like nobody's doing it, and everybody needs to. So let's get to it. All right, so how do you create a budget? First of all, I suggest you do it like this. To the left is just the budget. So these are the categories that I suggest that you use when you're creating a budget. So first there's the month. You should always say what month it is and I started actually putting the years because it's amazing to go back and look like 3 years later and see, one, how much debt you've paid off, two, how your income has increased or maybe hopefully not decreased, but hopefully how your debt has decreased since that time, or the changes in your life. And it's amazing because sometimes you'll go back and look at like a really old budget from like 5 or 6 years ago, and you're like, wow, my life was so drastically different. Like the things that was so important to me back then don't even matter now. Or you see your budget like before kids and after kids, and you're like, oh my God. So anyway, let's get back to the budget. So so put the month, and then if you're like me, you can put the year too. All right, so that's always at the top, complete top of the budget. So if I'm talking about this stuff on the left, but if you look at the stuff on the right, then you'll see the actual example of what it should look like. So then the next thing is your bills. So you see here I have rent, cell phone, car payment, insurance, clothes, and then a total. Well, this right here is a teen course. So these are bills that a teen might have. That's why rent is 0. But they're getting their first place, they need to have practice of that, or if their parents is having them pay rent, or if they already live in their first place. But I put things that teens might more than likely be paying for, more so than than adults. But if you're an adult and you're watching this and you need to know the basics of basics of budgeting, then this will help you. Okay, so first you list all your bills, and I call these categories instead of expenses because it really is a category. And then you list the amount due for that month. So July is the month here in the sample. So then I listed the amount that was due. And then at the bottom, I put my total there. The reason I put a total at the bottom is because I like numbers. And so I want to be able to, at a quick glance, know how much I spend or will need to spend for the total month at a quick glance. Because then that way, if you have income that fluctuates, then you know your bare minimum amount that you need to come up with for that month. Then I put the due dates, because in the beginning, when you first start creating your budget, you're not always going to remember the due dates, and then you're going to look up like, oh my God, today's the 15th and my cell phone bill was due today. I need to scramble up to go pay that. Or, you know, especially if you're a person that glances at their budget, like I glance at my budget like once a week. And then I kind of like scratch off things, because some of my bills come out of my account automatically, like my car payment and like my car insurance. And then some bills I actually pay on a monthly basis, like my cell phone. I don't really have a clothes budget. I just I have budgets for clothes, but I don't have a clothing budget, which means I don't buy clothes every month, but it's still a slot on my budget for it. But like the rent on this example, most of the months it say 0. And then some months it's like, oh, I got this thing coming up and I need to buy, you know, a dress or some shoes or a purse or whatever. So then I'll, you know, add it for that month, or maybe for 2 or 3 months before that month. So then when I go, you know, it's not a big hit on my budget to have, you know, a $200 or $300 expense when I can chop it up into like $50 or $70 a month or whatever. So that's kind of how I do simple items, is what I call them. Things that you don't have to have per se, but you really want. Instead of denying yourself pleasure, what I do is I give myself a little leeway and just put it in the budget. All right, so that was due dates. We talked about, you know, having a due date down. Now, you see by clothes, there's a line, because there's no due date for clothes. Either you're going to buy it or you're not. It's not a bill where you have to have it in by this date. And the same thing with rent, because there is no rent, then you don't have a due date. So paid. Paid, I do this, like, I do it 2 or 3 different ways. Sometimes I write the PD, which was just an example. Sometimes I write paid. And then sometimes I just scratch it out. And sometimes, I'm glad I did put the next one on there, because that's what I was going to explain. But let me finish that first. So sometimes, you know, like, or if there is nothing to be paid, then I draw a line like I did here. The reason it doesn't say paid beside the cell phone bill is because the cell phone bill hasn't been paid yet. So, you know, anything that doesn't have anything beside it, then you know, oh gosh, I still need to pay that. So when you're taking a quick glance at your budget, you know, I need to still pay this bill. Or, oh yeah, I already paid this one, let me scratch it off. So, you know, that's just, it just makes it easier for you when you don't have a lot of time. Like a lot of people are like, I don't have time to budget. I can't keep up with it. I'm going to write all these numbers down. Then I got to actually do what the numbers say. And then I got to go back and remind myself that I did it. I'm looking on a table because this is actually where I do my budget. And I'm trying to see if I left my notebook up here, because I would really like to just show you guys that I'm actually... oh dear, there it goes. So I wanted to show you guys that I'm not just like telling you all this stuff and I'm not doing it myself. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm pretty sure you can though. It says monthly budget book. And so in here, I'm not gonna try and show you guys the numbers, but this is like, you could probably see where it's like January to 7th. And it's like not neat at all. It's just my bills written down. And then like you can see the amounts. And then I kind of like scratch them out as I do them. And the reason I don't have the due dates on here anymore is because now that I'm not a beginner, I've been doing this for years. I know when everything is due by. And so I don't have to do that anymore. And one way for you tech people who love like using your devices, you can actually put reminders in your cell phone and your calendar, because like some bills are recurring. So like your rent, you know, your rent's due before the 5th every month. So on the 4th of every month, you can put rent, and then you can put set it in your calendar and set a reminder, and then you can make it a recurring or a repeat action that repeats forever. Or, you know, unless you know you're only going to be there for 1 year or whatever. I just do forever because I don't have to think about it no more. And then when it doesn't happen anymore, it takes like a second to fix it. And so, yeah, I just want to show you guys. And then at the bottom, you can see my math where I'm like scribbling my total and yeah, so that's like, this is like a real deal, everybody. Like I really do this like every month. So I want you to just think I'm trying to teach you some stuff that I'm not doing myself because I am actively doing it. What was this? Oh yeah, see, look, this is December's bills. I mean December's, and this is January. This is the new year. So, and I try to keep a book with just the new year. And so like this stuff, when I get done with this will go to a different book. So then I can keep track of that when the year's over. Anyway. Okay, so let's get back to it. I just want you guys to know that I actually do the stuff that I talk about in my blogs and everything. Like I really do this stuff. So the balance. Let's go to balance. So sometimes some bills you can get away with paying a partial amount. Like for example, right here I got $85 for insurance, but I had $85 as the amount. And I think I did that wrong. That should have been a 0. But the clothes one, you can see what they did was they put paid, but they really only actually purchased $20 worth of clothes because $35 minus $15 equals minus $15 equals $20. So they actually only paid $20 towards clothes when they actually went to buy clothes, which means two things. One, they can either reallocate this $15 that they have to something else, maybe a bill or a savings account, or they can keep that $15 as clothes money, and then next month they'll have $50 towards clothes instead of just the $35. So that is budgeting for you. Okay, so at the bottom it's saying that you paid $200. If all these numbers was right, it's saying that you paid $250 out. You had $470 worth of bills, and you still need to pay $220. If I did my math right, which I probably didn't. But if I did my math right, then don't get me wrong, somebody that does this every day can still do their math wrong and go back. Like I usually do this stuff like 3 or 4 times. And this is why I'm glad I saw this on my video, because now what I can do is I can go and I can make changes to this and get it perfect, because kids will be so confused right now, like what's going on. But because I'm talking to you adults, you guys know, it's typo, I'll fix it later or whatever. So yeah. That's it. I hope that helped you guys understand basic budgeting. Let's see what was next for this. Oh, so the next part is, this was going to be a really good course, guys, when I get finished with it, but I'm not finished with it yet. So that's it for Budgeting 101, and I hope you learned something, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, and have a good day.